Welcome to Motivation Compilation. One motivation compilation a day keeps the dark clouds of doubt away.
Download free and be inspired.
Download free files and be motivated.
How to use TikTok dance to overcome challenges with step-by-step instructions. My name is Sophia, I'm 20 years old, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. If you had told me a year ago that something as simple as TikTok dances could help me face my challenges head-on, I wouldn't have believed you. But looking back, I realized those dance steps weren't just moves. They were tools that helped me find confidence, joy, and resilience. This is my story about how dancing transformed my life, step by step. Step 1. Recognizing the problem. It all started when I felt completely stuck. I was in my second year of college, and the pressure of balancing classes, part-time work, and social expectations had left me feeling overwhelmed. Every day felt the same. A blur of lectures, assignments, and endless scrolling through my phone. One evening, I was sitting in my dorm, feeling defeated, when I came across a TikTok video of a girl dancing. She looked so carefree and happy, and I thought to myself, why don't I feel that way anymore? That question stayed with me. I realized I needed to make a change, something small, something manageable. And so, I decided to try learning one TikTok dance. Just one. Step 2. Taking the first step. I picked a simple trending dance and stood in front of my mirror. My first attempt was a disaster. My arms were uncoordinated, my feet couldn't keep up with the rhythm, and I felt like giving up before I even started. But then, something unexpected happened. I started laughing. I wasn't laughing at myself. I was laughing because, for the first time in weeks, I was doing something just for fun. Have you ever tried something new and felt silly but happy at the same time? That moment reminded me that it's okay not to be perfect. It's about the joy in trying. Step 3. Creating a routine. After that first dance, I decided to make it a daily habit. Every evening, I'd set aside 15 to 20 minutes to learn a new dance or practice the one I'd started. At first, it was just about moving my body and distracting my mind from the stress of the day. But as the days went by, I noticed something else. I was starting to feel proud of myself. Each time I mastered a new step, it felt like a small victory. Step 4. Building confidence. By the end of the first week, I felt a shift in my mindset. Dancing gave me a sense of control. No matter how chaotic my day had been, I knew I could come back to my little mirror dance sessions and feel accomplished. I started recording my progress, not to post online but to see how far I'd come. Watching those videos was eye-opening. I wasn't just improving my dance moves, I was improving my confidence. Have you ever looked back at your progress and felt a spark of pride? It's incredible how far small steps can take you. Step 5. Finding inspiration in others. One day, I finally worked up the courage to post one of my dances on TikTok. I was terrified of judgment, but to my surprise, the comments were full of support. People from all over the world left encouraging messages and even shared their own stories about how dancing had helped them. A girl from Australia messaged me saying, "Your video inspired me to start dancing too." That's when I realized TikTok wasn't just a platform. It was a community. I started following dancers who shared beginner-friendly routines and motivational content. Their stories inspired me to keep going, even on days when I didn't feel like moving. Step 6. Embracing challenges. As my confidence grew, I started tackling more complex routines. Some dances took me days to learn, and there were moments of frustration when I thought I'd never get it right. But every time I pushed through, I felt a deeper sense of accomplishment. I learned to embrace the process, the mistakes, the retries, and the small victories along the way. Step 7. Sharing the joy. By the third month, dancing had become a part of my daily routine. I started posting more videos and engaging with other creators. One of my favorite moments was collaborating with a dancer from Spain on a duet. Even though we were thousands of miles apart, it felt like we were sharing the same energy, the same joy. Dancing taught me that challenges aren't just obstacles, they're opportunities to grow. Each time I faced a difficult routine, it reminded me that I was capable of more than I thought. Final reflections. Looking back, those TikTok dances were more than just fun videos. They were my way of rediscovering myself, one step at a time. They taught me that overcoming challenges doesn't have to be overwhelming. Sometimes, all it takes is a little movement, a little joy, and a willingness to try. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, my advice is simple. Start small. Find something that makes you smile and commit to it, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Who knows? You might just dance your way to a better version of yourself. There's something about challenges that tests not just your patience but your entire being. And now I will share with you the hardest challenge I've faced and how dance became my unexpected lifeline. It happened last year, right in the middle of my 30-day TikTok dance journey. Life was finally starting to feel lighter. I'd found a rhythm, not just in dancing, but in how I handled my days. Then, out of nowhere, my world tipped upside down. I got a call from my mom, her voice heavy with worry. "Sophia, your dad's in the hospital. They think it's his heart." My hands shook as I tried to process her words. My dad, the man who'd always been the steady rock in my life, was suddenly fragile, vulnerable. I rushed to the hospital, my mind racing with what-ifs. Seeing him lying there, hooked up to monitors, made me feel helpless. The doctors said he would need surgery, and though the prognosis was good, the uncertainty was crushing. I tried to stay strong for my mom and siblings, but inside I was falling apart. Dance as a refuge. During those long days in the hospital waiting room, I didn't know what to do with myself. The hours stretched endlessly, filled with anxious silences and hushed conversations. One evening, after visiting hours ended, I went back to my tiny apartment. My heart felt so heavy, I didn't think I could even eat or sleep. I opened TikTok, looking for some kind of distraction. My For You page was filled with videos of people dancing, smiling, carefree, and full of energy. For a moment, I felt disconnected, like I didn't belong to that world anymore. But then I remembered why I started this journey in the first place: to find joy in the smallest moments. I stood in front of my mirror, turned on a familiar song, and started moving. At first, it felt forced. My body was heavy with stress, my steps clumsy and uncoordinated. But as the music filled the room, something shifted. I wasn't thinking about hospital monitors or test results anymore. I was just moving. For 3 minutes, I let the rhythm carry me away from the fear and uncertainty. By the end of the song, I was out of breath, my cheeks damp with tears, but I felt lighter. It wasn't a solution to my problems, but it was a moment of relief. A reminder that even in the hardest times, it's okay to pause and let yourself feel something else, something good. Facing the challenge. The next morning, I went to see my dad with a renewed sense of strength. I held his hand and told him about the silly dance I'd learned the night before. He chuckled weakly and said, "You'll have to show me when I'm out of here." That small moment of humor, of connection, reminded me why I couldn't let fear consume me. My dad needed me to be strong, and I needed to find a way to stay grounded. Dance became my secret weapon during those weeks. Every night, I'd carve out 15 minutes to learn a new routine or revisit an old favorite. It wasn't just about the movement. It was about reclaiming a sense of control in a situation where I felt powerless. Have you ever faced a challenge so overwhelming that you needed something small, almost trivial, to anchor you? For me, that anchor was dance. A surprising turn. 2 weeks later, my dad's surgery went smoothly. As he began his recovery, I brought my phone to the hospital and showed him one of my dance videos. He laughed and said, "You've got some moves, kid." Then he added, "You know, I used to be quite the dancer myself." I was stunned. "Wait, what? You danced?" I asked, half laughing. He smiled. "Back in college. Nothing fancy, just some swing dancing at parties. Your mom loved it." Hearing that felt like discovering a hidden piece of my family's history. I asked him to show me, and to my surprise, he agreed. Standing by his hospital bed, he lifted his arms and moved his hands to mimic an old swing routine. "When I'm back on my feet," he said, "we're doing this for real." What I learned. That experience taught me that challenges don't define us. How we respond to them does. Dance didn't solve my problems, but it gave me strength to face them. It reminded me to find light even in the darkest moments, and to share that light with others. Looking back, I realized those weeks weren't just about my dad's recovery. They were about my own growth, too. I learned that resilience doesn't mean being unshakable. It means finding ways to keep moving, even when life feels heavy. So if you're going through something hard right now, I want to tell you this. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to cry, to stumble, to not know what's next. But don't forget to find your anchor. Whether it's dance, music, writing, or something else. Let it remind you that you're stronger than you think. And when you find those moments of joy, however small, hold on to them. Because sometimes, those moments are what carry you through. Now I want to tell you my secret victory. The one I never thought I'd achieve, but that changed everything for me. It wasn't about winning a competition or hitting a milestone on TikTok. It was something deeper, something that reshaped how I saw myself and what I believed I could do. For most of my life, I'd carried this invisible weight, the fear of being judged. It stopped me from raising my hand in class, from speaking up in group projects, and even from trying new things that might make me look silly. Dancing, as much as I loved it, was no exception. While I had started to embrace it in private, the idea of performing in front of others terrified me. That fear was tested when my college's cultural festival announced a group TikTok dance performance. My friend Jenna, who had seen my videos, insisted I join. "Come on, Sophia. You've been practicing for months. This is your moment," she said, practically dragging me to the sign-up sheet. I almost didn't go through with it. Standing on that stage, waiting for the music to start, I could feel every nerve in my body screaming at me to run. But then the lights dimmed, the music began, and something shifted. I stopped thinking about the crowd, the expectations, or the possibility of messing up. Instead, I focused on the rhythm, the joy of movement, and the connection I felt with my team. The moment of victory. By the end of the performance, the audience was cheering. My heart was pounding, not from fear but from exhilaration. It wasn't just about nailing the choreography. It was about stepping out of my comfort zone and proving to myself that I could do it. That night, as I stood backstage with my friends, I realized that victory wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, taking the risk, and letting yourself be seen. What I gained, that performance did more than help me overcome my fear of judgment. It taught me that courage doesn't always roar. It sometimes whispers, "Just try." It showed me the power of community, of leaning on others when my confidence wavered. Most importantly, it reminded me that every small step, every stumble, and every moment of vulnerability is a part of the journey. So here's my question for you. What's your secret victory waiting to happen? Maybe it's something you've been afraid to try, or a challenge you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, take that first step. You might just surprise yourself.
Like and subscribe to my channel for watching new interesting videos.